So today I'm going to walk you through how to take the training test to prepare you for the state testing that's coming up. On the iPad, the first thing that you need to do is go ahead and check the volume and make sure that your volume is turned on. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and open up the Air Secure Test icon. Give it a moment to load the screen. And you're going to come to the sign-on page. This is the page that you'll use when you take the actual test, but today we're going to take the practice and training test, so we're going to click on the link at the bottom of the screen, and another sign-in is going to pop up. What we need to do, though, before we sign in is make sure that guided access is turned on, and in order to do that, you're going to click on the Home button. That's the big button at the bottom of the iPad, and you have to triple click on that button. And you'll see that it says guided access is started, and at the top it also lets you know that it's enabled. For some students, when you triple click on it, you might get a menu at the very top of your page that says start, and you'll have to click on the start button. If for some reason you need to turn off guided access, you triple click the button again. It's going to ask you to enter a passcode. Your passcode is 0000, and you're going to get this screen right here. At this point, you can choose to end up at the top left, or you can resume to go back into the test. We're going to go ahead and click on the resume button. In order to type your username and your session ID, you have to uncheck the little check mark that's next to where it says guest user and the one that's next to guest session. You're then going to type in your ID. I don't have a keyboard set up, so I have to use the on-screen keyboard. And your teacher will be giving you a session ID. You're going to type this in. And what's going to happen at this point is it's going to let you know that you can't adjust the volume. Go ahead and hit OK on that screen. You're going to look and confirm that the name on the screen is actually you, and then go ahead and click yes. And it's going to tell you what test you're going to take. Go ahead and click. And now what you're doing is you're waiting for the teacher's approval. So at this point, what your teacher will be doing is she's going to be going over to her computer, and there's going to be a list of students that come up that need to take the test. And she's going to go ahead and click on approval so that you can start the test. Okay, once she does that, it's going to say, is this your test? Go ahead and scroll down and say, yes, start my test. And then begin test now. At this point, the test is loaded. You can go ahead and answer the questions. You click on the button, and up on the top, you're going to see a next button. So you can go to the next. On this one, in order to answer the problem, you have to actually click on the screen for the numbers that you want. I'm not actually doing the math here. So you're clicking on the numbers. There's also a little back arrow. If you want to move back, you can move your cursor and go backwards. Okay, you will then click on next again up at the top and follow the directions. When you try to move on without answering the question, it will tell you that you have to answer all of those questions before you can move on. So make sure that you answer the question. There is a zoom in and a zoom out option as well if you can't read what's going on. And if you need to pause the test, you can hit the pause button. Make sure that you check with your teacher before you do that. So let's go ahead and assume that we are done with our test. It's going to take us right back to the screen. We want to triple click and turn off our guided access. And we do that again by hitting the end button up at the top left. Guided access has now ended. In order to completely close out this app, you're going to double click, and then you want to slide it up, and that will completely shut down your test. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back in because I want to show you a couple things that have shown up for some students when they are taking the test, some problems that you may have encountered. Waiting for it to load. So when you turn on guided access, for some people what happens when they turn it on, I'm going to go ahead and show you, is that this touch comes up, and I'm not sure why, but for some students something might get drawn on the screen, and then when they're in guided access it almost looks like there's a shadow there, and you actually cannot type or do anything in that shadow. So if that happens to show up for you, what you want to do is you want to triple click on your guided access as if you're turning it off, and then you'll see that there's an X on that, and you can go ahead and erase that and resume and continue on with your test. I'm not exactly sure how that shows up, but that is how you would go ahead and get rid of it. Some students are seeing that their screen goes to a pure white mode. A couple reasons that may happen. On your keyboards, please do not click on the tab button or the caps lock button, as that could trigger the white screen. If you get the white screen, you do have to double click. Well, first we have to turn off guided access. And then we would completely close out the app and restart it and try again. I hope that you have fun with your training test today.